Then Atlas slashed the other officers that made the chief call his men an idiot and said if infantry won't work it's time to bring out the big guns. Then he orders to engage the missiles, while thinking that Atlas might be unstoppable in single combat. But he can't beat his unit with sore words alone. Then one of the officers shouts that the missiles are ready to fire. Atlas said their battle is pointless. Then he asked the chief if do we care so little for the lives of his men, but the chief responded that every one of his agents is happy to put their life on the line to stop monsters like him, and if he hadn't been corrupted by his Imperium, he would understand that Atlas tells him that he's really a fool, but he tells Atlas not to overestimate himself. Then he orders the missile to fire, to which his men did, but Atlas just smiles and realizes that his whole world turned upside down and is fighting against men who just a few hours ago were allies, but for some reason he feels alive. Then he cuts the missile which made it explode. Atlas thinks he has killed demon after demon for years, but he has never felt he had a purpose more than he does now, and he knows that revenge is coming. One of the officers clenches his teeth in anger and orders his comrade not to give Atlas even a moment to rest because they have to stop that monster. Atlas throws his sword while saying they have no idea what he's capable of. The sword hit one of the officers. Then he pulled his sword back at him, which made the chief realize that even Atlas throws his Imperium, he can summon it back to his hands, and he doesn't have any other choice. Then he shouted to send out the twins, which made Atlas wonder. Then something flies toward him and flies past him. Atlas thinks she's fast. Then someone kicks him that throws him away. The twins named Tora and Hina look at him. Then Hina said is lame because she thought they'd finally get to have some fun. Atlas, who's on the ground wondering what the hell was it. Then Hina asks him if he's okay. Then she tells the chief that she thought he said Atlas was a worthy opponent and asks if that is actually Atlas, but the chief responded whatever they do, don't kill Atlas, because the president wants him alive, while thinking he didn't want to rely on those crazy twins, but is under strict orders to stall Atlas until the defenders get there. Tora looks at Hina, to which Hina laughed and said is right, because maybe getting corrupted by his Imperium has weakened his skills, so they'll have to play nice if they're not allowed to break their toy. On the other hand, Atlas realizes that he almost forgot the situation he's in and wonders what would Jason think if he saw the situation. Then he stands hands up and knows that he needs to get out of there before that happens. Then he throws his sword toward Hina, and Hina got cut on the cheek. Then he jumps behind Hina while apologizing for disappointing them. But he doesn't have time to waste playing with them, but Hina just smiled excitedly and jumps while saying that's what she wants. When Atlas going to attack Hina, Tora jumps toward him and attack him, breaking the ground, but when he looks around, Atlas is nowhere to be found. Suddenly Atlas appeared in front of him while saying brute force is useless against him. Then Atlas kicks Tora's face, but he just hit an armor, which made him confused. Then Tora punches him away. Then he landed on the ground confused because he knows that Tora didn't have armor before and wondered how did Tora block his kick so quickly. The chief teasingly said it won't be so easy to defeat the twins, because he may have the power of a demon, but the twins are monsters themselves. They were brought up from birth to be killers, not to kill demons, but to kill those who oppose the DDA, and the twins' Imperiums come from the Steel Griffin. Because of their condition, upbringing, and uniquely similar DNA, they developed the ability to bond with the same demon core. Tora can manifest the Steel Griffin's metal feather in strength, while Hina can manifest the Steel Griffin's bestial vision and talons. Hina said seem like her big brother is finally taking Atlas seriously, but she can't let her brother steal all the fun. Then Hina tells Atlas that she hopes he did not disappoint them. Then she jumps toward Atlas, but Atlas thinks he has never heard of those twins before. Then he pointed one of his swords at Tora and the other one at Hina, while realizing that he used to keep his head down and not ask any questions about the DDA. But that's a luxury he can't afford anymore. Atlas knows that he needs to separate the twins because they're Annoying, then Hina attacks him using her sharp claws while he's planning to figure out how the twins' Imperiums work. Hina once again attacks him, to which Atlas feels the pressure coming off at Hina with every strike because Hina was fast, but he knows that he can still keep up. Then he looks back wondering where Tora goes. Taurus swings his weapon toward Atlas, but Atlas just ready his swords to block it, while telling Tora to give his best shot. Then Tora hit Atlas, but he blocks it, to which he realized is that Tora is strong, but he knows that he can handle it and he just needs to create an opening. Tora attack made him back away a little, and he teasingly asks the twin if that was all they are capable of. Hina gets angry and launched an attack at him while telling him not to be cocky. Fortunately, he leans backward in time to avoid Hina's attack. Then he jumps while wondering if Hina's power just increased. Then he swings his sword toward Hina, but Hina avoided it. Then he angrily raises his sword while telling the twin to get out of his way. But Hina just looked at him angrily, to which made him confused. Suddenly Tora attacked the ground toward Atlas, which made the ground breaks, but Atlas jumped, avoiding it in time. Then he landed on the unbroken ground, realizing that Hina eyes went back to normal. He felt an eruption of demonic power from Tora. Tora jumped toward him, ready to attack. That made him surprised and wonder how Tora closed the distance already. Then Tora attacked him, which made a loud destruction, but once again he avoided it, realizing that Tora's ability is currently different and he would be dead if he took one of those hits head on, as he did earlier. Hina happily runs toward him to attack. Atlas was confused then. Hina attacked him and cut his cheek while he finally realized that the twins' Imperiums are linked. On the other hand, the chief who's helping his injured men said finally Atlas, who's a corrupted bastard, isn't as strong as he thinks he is, and after he captures him, he'll surely get promoted. Atlas, who had a cut on his face, tells the twins that they're really starting to piss him off. Then he walks toward the twin, asking them why don't they take the fight up a notch too, which Tina asked him back if he is really sure about it, because it looks like he has already bitten off more than he can chew, but Atlas responded he's not really, and he is just bored. Then he asks if wouldn't it be more fun if they end the fight in a single move. The chief shouted to the twins not to listen to Atlas because they have the advantage, so there's no reason to take a risk, but Hina angrily tells him to shut up and said she can handle the situation herself and his whole unit would be dead if they hadn't saved him, to which made the chief angry and thinks how dare Hina to talk to him like that. Then Hina agrees to Atlas and said she hopes he doesn't die because she thinks she's starting to like him. Atlas knows that those twins are powerful and normally they might even pose a real threat to him, but he's certain that he can take them down. Then he angrily looks at the twin while thinking that it's time to end the fight. Hina jumps to Tora hand while asking his brother to give her all the power because she wants to finish the fight herself. Then Tora throws Hina with great force toward Atlas. Then Hina pointed her feet with sharp claws first to land at Atlas, but Atlas just closes his eyes and focuses to his shadow swords while thinking he only going to have a small window to make it work. Then he opens his eyes and throws his swords toward Hina, but Hina just tells him that it isn't going to work on her. Unfortunately, Atlas asks her if she thinks he was aiming at her. Then Atlas's swords fly past her, to which Hina realizes that Atlas was targeting Tora. That whole time Tora was confused and got hit by Atlas' swords, which made Hina called Tora worried. Suddenly Atlas appeared under her and tells her that he doesn't think she has time to worry about Tora. Then Atlas grabs Hina leg and slams her on the ground hard. Hina coughs blood and pain. Then Atlas gathers his power in his hand while telling Hina that once he realized they're sharing the power of their Imperium, all he had to do was target whichever one of them was weak. Then he lifts up Hina and ready his power to finish her while telling her that it's over. Meanwhile, Jason was flying with his ice while telling someone to make sure to take care of all the agents, to which Sasha asked him when did he get there, but Jason just tell her that he'll handle Atlas himself. Meanwhile, Atlas, who's holding Hina, thinks he's not sure where it's coming from, but he has never felt so much power before. Then he's going to kill Hina. Using his power, but someone grabs his hand and Jason tells him that he finally found him, to which Atlas, stunned Atlas, looks back realizing that he spent too much time with those stupid twins. Then he let go of Hina while Sasha looks at them in silence. The chief asks Jason what is he doing there and orders him not to just stand there. Then Jason frees his Atlas's hand, but Atlas breaks free and move away while asking him if that is how he greets his oldest friend, but Jason responded that he's not here to talk with him. Then he readies his Sharp's block of ice while saying that time has passed, to which made Sasha ask him what is he doing. Jason tells Sasha that there is no need to defend Atlas. Then he put down his hand to attack Atlas while saying that isn't Atlas anymore. The ice flies toward Atlas, but Sasha blocks it, using her weapon to protect Atlas while asking Jason how could he say it when they don't even know what happened. Jason responded that he know exactly what happened and said Atlas is more than those swords, than the man they knew then. He angrily asks Atlas if does he has nothing to say for himself. Atlas patted Sasha's shoulder, to which Sasha look at him in confusion, but Atlas just smile at her. Then Atlas walks forward and said to Jason to say all what he wants, but he did everything for Rachel. Jason responded that it was convenient and asked him if it was worth betraying his friends and everything. The DDA represents Jason also asks if it's worth killing all of those innocent agents. Ben defends society and is not meant to rely on them. Then he punched Atlas using his sharp ice, but Atlas avoided it while Jason asks him how could you let that happen. Jason made a big block of ice while telling Atlas that they're brothers. Then he hit Atlas using it while asking if he still remembers what happened to his father and how badly that hurt him. Jason said everyone always told him that his father was a great man, but it turns out his father wasn't the person they all thought he was. Then he punched Atlas's face, which made Atlas bleed, and said he guessed neither are he and thrown away while Jason asked if you think Rachel would be proud of what he had become. On the other hand, Sasha, who's watching the two of them, realizes that Atlas isn't fighting back and Jason is too blinded by his rage to see it, but it's clear that Atlas hasn't been corrupted. Sasha wonders why Atlas won't trust them, because if he had just told them the truth they would have helped him, but she knows that it's too late because the DDA won't let Atlas go, so she wonders what can she do. Jason launched a punch toward Atlas while angrily asking him if Rachel would even love him anymore after all the blood on his hands. Atlas catches Jason's hand while telling Jason not to go there, because at least he tries to honor Rachel's memory, but he turned on his father the moment the DDA said his father was corrupted. Then he asks Jason if that's all his love is worth. Then he throws Jason away. Jason attacks him using his ice while saying at least he doesn't live in some fantasy and out there in the real world he has to face reality. Sasha realized that the fight was getting bad. Atlas dodges Jason ice while Jason tells him that he is just like his father because he put up a front like his some noble hero, but on the inside all he cares about is himself. Then Jason attacks him continuously. Fortunately, he avoided it while Jason saying no wonder they both got corrupted by his own selfish desires. Suddenly Atlas appeared behind Jason and asks him if that's really what he thinks. Then he slices Jason, but Jason avoided it. Then Jason flips to attack him, but Atlas jumps toward him while telling him that he rather believe in the DDA than his own best friend, which made Jason confused. Atlas kicks Jason in the stomach. Then Jason threw away Atlas, tells him that everything doesn't always fit perfectly into place and sometimes heroes don't wear capes and demons don't have horns and breathe fire, but Jason, who's injured on the ground, tells Atlas not to lecture him. Jason slowly stands up while saying that it's just an excuse he uses to justify doing whatever he wants and none of that matters anyways. Then he made a giant ice spear to attack Atlas while saying there's only one fate For defenders who have been corrupted that made Atlas shock, then Sasha hit Jason using her weapon while telling him to stop. Then Jason collapsed on the ground. Then Sasha captured Atlas while Atlas told her that she didn't have to. But Sasha just walked toward him while saying they both acting like babies. Then she slaps Atlas and put a tracker on him. To which Atlas asks her what was the slap, for Sasha responded that it was what he get for being so selfish, and she, no, that is hiding the truth in order to protect them, but clearly he was the one who needs protection. Sasha also said she can make decisions for herself, to which Atlas apologized and tried to say something, but Sasha let go of him while saying she had decided to let him go. Sasha said she don't know what happened, but she won't let the DDA get to him, and she owe him that much, so he need to get out of there before it was too late. Suddenly someone speak, which made Atlas shock. Then a man with other DDA asks what they have there. Then the man walks toward them while telling Sasha that it looks like she was just untying